after Israeli Parliament moved forward a law that would bar organizations that are critical of the Israeli military from speaking in educational institutions. Still here with us is Achiya Shatz, communications director of the group Breaking the Silence, along with Michael Kleiner, former member of Israeli Parliament in the ruling Likud party. Promised you a response before the break, so please go ahead.
Look, political propaganda shouldn't enter schools from any direction. But their problem is a mixture. On one hand, they say we are a political movement that makes propaganda against keeping the liberated territories, which is okay. But this is not the image. This, what he says, is Meretz, is Shalom Achshav, is Peace Now. They have an image of putting bad stories, distorting the image of the Israeli army, which is, not only my opinion, but also from colleagues from most of the Israeli left, the most moral army in the world, checking itself, punishing phenomena which are, some of them are also mentioned by them, but they put them all together and put a picture of in the world that makes the most moral army in the world look ugly, look an army that fights with children. And last point, they said, and this is something which will not allow them to play this innocent face as they pay, they say that the moral code of the army, this is a saying that the movement said, the moral code of the army is intended to teach Israeli soldiers to aim at children.
Well, so let's let you say, in your own words, if a group like Breaking the Silence goes into a school and talks to kids in Israel or elsewhere, what is the message?
First of all, most of this is nonsense. I think that one of the most amazing things that Michael just said was aiming at children. Now, the Minister of Education, last week, Minister of Education of Israel, from the Settlers Party, the Jewish Home Party, said that we should kill kids in the age of 8 if they fly kites that are burning. Now, this is out of any regulations of the army.
If children will shoot at us and endanger the life of our soldiers, they have to defend themselves. But who is sending them to the fence? Who is bringing them to a dangerous area? Who is risking their lives?
This is the discussion I want to create. This is the debate that we need to have as Israelis. Now, blocking this from having a discussion from people who are about to be drafted to the army,
from people, you have to bring it to schools.
Media. We're 15 people that work in Breaking the Silence. We're 1,000 soldiers that testified. You have the control in power for years in the government.
Why do you
You're saying that I'm controlling anyone?
This is going in a different direction, Achiya.
Who are at your political direction?
Michael, one moment.
Why do you protect the people who send fires in the fields of the
let's pause here for a moment. Achiya, I want to ask you, there is a lot of the critics of Breaking the Silence will say, well, we think it's political because Breaking the Silence is publishing information in English, is taking its case all around the world, and not trying to actually have an educated debate in Israel. What do you say to those?
First of all, right now we're talking about an issue blocking Breaking the Silence inside Israel. Okay? This is almost ridiculous, right? Second, we're speaking right now in English. Why? Because it's relevant, because people want to know, because the occupation is not an inside problem of Israel.
Some people in the world that don't love us,
we have Jews around the world who care.
False information and use it against us.
Or because this is the most important issue about the Israeli society. And I'm not going to give up to the right wing, to the extreme right wing, and to lead us to more terror, to lead us to more settlements, to lead us to more
anti-Semites. Why to help the anti-Semites? Keep the debate in Israel.
Discrimination against.
Let's pause again. Gentlemen, you want to be heard, right? So hold on. You say let's keep the debate in Israel. So this law, as Achiya just pointed out, is actually stopping the debate from happening in schools in Israel. Why not, in a democracy, allow that to happen?
No, in a democracy, you have press, you control the media, you have many stages to have the debate. I am against going and bringing political debates into the schools from the left and the right.
Answer that specific point about schools.
Of course, schools are all the time political on that way, right? There's right-wing organization that entering school and promoting settlement propaganda, or even in the Jewish Home Party, young people that are calling to vote for Jewish home parties inside schools. This is not a debate about who is about to speak. This is about. I just want to point out what really it's about. It's about hiding what is going on in the occupied territories. It's about hiding what we were sent to do as soldiers, and I'm not willing to do that.
Michael,
first of all, if the army is holding these territories that say the Palestinians, our enemies, want to destroy us, want to use as a springboard to destroy Israel, and this is what the majority of Israeli in democratic election decided, you are actually trying to disturb the Israeli army to do the job they were sent to do by an elected democratic government. And that's why you are not better from the northern Islamic group, and they are outlawed, and if you will continue this path, you will be outlawed, not only in schools.
So the first thing is, this is not how democracy works. Democracy works about competition between opinions. And competition between opinions needs to be given a space to do so. If we're being blocked from schools, being blocked from the public space, if ministers are coming and say that we're traitors and trying to enforce that people will hurt breaking the silence, they're trying to silence the conversation. And there's a really good point for them to silence soldiers. Because if they hear soldiers speaking about the occupation, it will break down this house of cards of silencing about what's going on in the occupied territories and what's the point of it.
All the countries around us are democratic. Only Israel is a dark country with a dark army, killing children. This is a picture you try to bring to the world,
I'm trying to
which
give
is not the
space
true
for
picture.
everyone to speak,
It's a false
because
picture.
this is the most important thing that we need to do.